This is Grand Admiral Thrawn. You are listening to the Sarlacc Digest. What a fascinating play on words.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Sarlacc Digest, a Star Wars community bringing you line talk and digesting Star Wars topics over 1,000 years. This is our 224th episode, being recorded on August 30th, 2023. I'm your host, Darth Moocher. Got Scott Solo.
What's up, nerds?
Got Grand Admiral Franz.
Hello.
No Joey today. I think his dog ran him over. Instead of him running over his dog ran him over. So we'll just wave at Joey and hopefully that he manifests himself later on in this podcast. The same thing with Ernie the Fallen Fett. I know he'll be hopping
Not the
over
dog
here.
thing.
No,
not the same thing with Fallen Fett.
No, Fallen Fett is just going overtime like usual to cut into the Sarlacc time. So
Prima donnas. That's what's going on here. Prima
Tell
donna. He's like Axl Rose. He shows up when he wants to. Starts
That's
the show
right.
3 hours late. He's all good. They'll
show
wait
doesn't
for me.
really start till he gets here anyway. That's exactly.
We're the warm-up act.
This is what you get. Wow. Yeah, this is what you get, guys. All right. So, of course, we're here to discuss Star Wars. And as more important, the Ahsoka series.
Hell yes.
Ahsoka is 3 episodes in, man. Like Don was saying in the chat, we're almost halfway over. And it's like, we just started this. But before we get into all that good stuff, of course, we've got to shout out our Patreons who keep us going every week, and also the Pit who keeps us going every week. So, Scott, I'm going to kick it over to you, and then we'll get right back into the Star Wars talk.
Sounds great. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Or if you're new to the show, welcome. We're glad to have you here, and just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Enjoy the pit. Take part. Communicate with everybody. It's what it's all about. You know what? But of course, we wouldn't have a pit. We wouldn't have a show if it weren't for these fine folk, our Patreon crew. So a special shout out to AJ from the Forbidden Panel, Cliff, Brandon and Anya Epler, Dennis McGrath, Don the Dad Dorn, Don and Brady of the Escape Pod podcast, Eric Grubb, Flavy Davy, formerly of the Nerds with Attitude podcast, Gavin Connor, currently of the Holy Hour All Cure podcast, Justin the Vanilla Thunder, Mervine Bolanos, Matt Logic, Ryan and the Star Joe's podcast. You have no idea how much we appreciate every one of you. If you want to join up,
our Patreon.
Hey, thanks, man. Thanks. I appreciate that. If you want to become a member of the Patreon crew so I can say your name in funny and interesting ways and, just interesting ways. It's not necessarily funny. Scan the QR code right there. Log on to patreon.com/Sarlacc Digest podcast and donate a couple of bucks. We really appreciate it. And every dollar of it goes right back into the production of this fine show. I mean, seriously, look at us. We're a good looking bunch of guys. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Also, we have the super chats. If you want to give us a super chat, we'd appreciate that too. Again, all goes back into the production of the show. So if you are feeling generous, please feel free to donate. We love it. Also, digesting in the pit right now. These people are tasty, I tell you. We've got Gordon in there. We've got Don the Dad Dorn. Lunar Girl. I'll stop that now. We've got Tim Van Glider. What's up, Tim? Tim, if you haven't seen his artwork in the Sarlacc Digest community page on Facebook, Tim does a whole bunch of stickers. He does decals, and he just put out one really cool one for the Ghost. So check that out. It's pretty awesome. We might team up with Tim a little bit, maybe.
We need to talk, Tim.
We need to talk, Tim. We've also got Gavin Connor in there, the busiest man in podcasting and music making business. That's Gavin Connor right there. We've got Ubaldo T. Let's see, who else have we got? We've got, oh wow, it's a full crew. We've got Rhino Hobbies. What's up? Santo 1414 007 double A07 double I don't know, man. I need a somebody's got to pronounce that for me. 007. Anyway.
Yeah. Double O.
Not that important. What's up, 00? And yeah, so anybody else who's in there, give us a shout. We'll give you a shout out on the show, and let's do this, man.
Yeah, let's do this. And 007. I absolutely agree with you on the credits. The theme. This is the only show that I honestly let it play through until Disney Plus does like the next thing every time.
So good.
And I watched that whole the whole pathway. I mean, it's just
it's like the Peacemaker intro, right? I never skip that. I never skip through the end credits of Ahsoka now. That's my favorite end credit ever.
That with Peacemaker when I was watching it, it took me like 2 years. And Stranger Things, I let that intro go because I just love the music.
Oh, it's great.
I do. Yeah, I do too. That's funny.
It's
I never watch an ending, and I don't want it to skip to the next episode. Or
I
nothing.
swear,
I just want it to stay right there. I'm groovy.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a great soundtrack.
It is, man.
Yeah,
it is one of the best. Because we're in Ahsoka and everything, we have to enjoy it now, right? Because everything that I've heard, all the Star Wars content is being pushed back because of the strike and the writers thing and all that stuff. And it's got me contemplating about joining a gym so I can live longer as these things get stretched out. So I'm like, damn it, now it's really affecting my life. I wasn't planning on this. Now I'm like, I got to get healthy so I can watch all these Star Wars shows because it's getting stretched out further beyond our dates that we discussed that I agreed upon. But
yeah. So
I think it's funny, but
that actually brings up a good point though, because Disney
Marco had in the gym.
Everything getting stretched out, and yeah.
Marco in the gym.
Disney, exactly. Marco and not the gym.
Right. Yeah.
I was giving.
Disney was just this week canceling shows that were completed. It's like the Spiderwick Chronicles.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
I think that's like a young adult series. Yeah, it's a young adult series, I believe. And it was done. It was in the can. It was ready to roll.
Yeah.
And they said, oops, never mind.
Yeah, they're trying to sell it now. Yeah, they're trying to sell it to somebody else and just kind of like, we did all the work, now you do it. I don't know why. And
it just makes me wonder. I mean, the shows that should be canceled, like the new Snow White atrocity that's coming. I mean, that could easily get canceled, but
100%. It will get canceled. They're gonna let that go through though. They'll put that through. But but you know it's funny because with that talk right there about the cancellation, there was a big headline on Yahoo News or something like that about is Ahsoka getting canceled, and I'm just like, I mean, come on. I know, and it is like total like just BS because of the Disney saying we're canceling shows, Spiderwick being one of them, and the threat of all these other future ones, and it's funny.
Those aren't successful IPs that people clamor. Some people do. Don't get me wrong. There's a fan base and a following for everything, right? And I'm sure the Spiderwick fans are quite passionate.
Yeah, Gordon's like, it would be like Harry Potter equivalent. Like meaning if they did the movies and they canceled them, it'd be
but it's not as Harry Potter as Harry.
No, it's
right?
not
You're
as
not
exactly.
Spiderwick.
Series of unfortunate events would be like a better analogy, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose so. But I don't think I don't think we're in any danger there. I think this whole set right now, winding up or going to that movie, has to go through the way it's going through. They have a blueprint. So
but that blueprint does not include necessarily the Acolyte, which is that one outlier that nobody's entirely sure what the Acolyte is.
Right.
So I'm like, just don't touch Star Wars. You could do this. You could do the cancellation thing. I'm cool with that. Just don't touch Star Wars.
Yeah.
Okay? Or if you're going to cancel something, cancel Rian Johnson's whatever he's got going on out there. Cool.
Man, random Rian Johnson shade. Whoa, what are we doing here?
Just because it's been him and Han for 6 years.
I want to cancel Taika's. I want Taika's gone.
Me too, actually.
Taika lost me. He lost. I was pro Taika. I was let's go Waititi. Yeah, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
and then
I'm there too, man.
Then the last Thor came out, and I was like, no.
It just seems like, I mean, I'm sure it's false statement here, but it just seems like you can't take it serious, and I'm like, you know what I mean, and
Skeleton
not
Crew
necessarily has to be like 100% serious, but you get what I mean. Like, you know, it's if it's a running joke, then I think most of us just want a good freaking story, and I think that's what we're getting in Ahsoka so far. And the whole thing about like, I know why those articles are happening about like, is Ahsoka even going to make it to this end of this one, or is season 2 accounts like, first off, Disney's not even there yet as far as announcing anything. Let's get through this first. Like Don said, we're almost halfway done. And it's the whole like, it's the low viewership. Well, they came out with numbers today or yesterday, Disney did, and I'm going to believe them. I'm not going to say it's fake or anything. They said it's the Ahsoka episodes 1 and 2 are the most watched Disney Plus shows to date. There you have it. I mean, they have to answer
the thing is the other one that tracks numbers doesn't track mobile devices, things like that.
Do
you know how I watch it? I stream it. I shoot it from my phone to my TV. I don't watch it on everything. That's what I'm using, my mobile device to do it.
I got you.
So,
I mean,
I would think almost everybody would, right? That's so weird, but they only measure smart TVs apparently, or whatever it is that turns it on the app.
So the only reason I have a PlayStation is to have the app in there.
The Chromecast, Fire Sticks, things like
Roku.
that.
Sure, man.
Yeah,
got a Roku.
I mean, like I said, it's to date, it's the most watched viewed Disney Plus show. Episodes 1 and 2 of Ahsoka.
It should
be. You're a damn dirty liar.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and so I know that some people have made comments and videos and stuff about like, it's Disney so much they can't even watch Ahsoka, blah blah blah. But rest assured, it's doing okay. Okay,
Sky is falling gains clicks. That's
all the time. Yeah,
that's all it is. Good and bad. That's why they don't talk to people in their chats and in their comments, because they just got there to get everybody else riled up.
It's a headline.
It's like if we didn't talk to this chat right here, we just started making stuff up to piss them off, right? And the piss starts riling in at us and at each other. We don't care. We're just riling them up for clicks.
Right,
That's all they do with all that stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely. So again, that's why we're so thankful to you for the pit to be here every Wednesday, right after Ahsoka. We're thankful for Ahsoka series too, because again, we're going to get into it. 007 is Skeleton Crew still coming off this year. I don't know. I think Acolyte was pushed back because of the strike, and I'm assuming Skeleton Crew at the same time. Now they're saying a lot of things 2024. So I wouldn't expect anything.
Let me look.
I wouldn't expect anything the rest of this year. Ahsoka's going to be it, and we probably won't get anything until early or until the writer strike is done. You know what I mean?
It's December or early 2024, depending on the strike.
Unfortunately things got stretched out, pushed, and we're just gonna have to. I think we're getting a lot of content that'll keep us going for a long time. I
read somebody's comment earlier. It's actually a friend of mine who said, "Is anybody else not yet affected by this supposed writer strike? What a waste of time." And I'm like, do you realize how long it takes to make a TV show? Just from writing to the actors and I mean, it takes a couple of years. We're not directly feeling the effects yet of this strike because everything that is debuting has been done.
Oh yeah.
It's been, or the people working on it are not part of those two unions and are working on finishing the product. So,
you know, when you'll see it, if everybody remembers the other strike, we're going to get a hero situation.
Oh, yeah.
With a whole bunch of shows, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Heroes went straight to the toilet with that strike.
That's what I'm saying.
And all of a sudden, Survivors and, you know, the
reality shows
and reality shows. Yeah.
Here we go again. Yeah. So get prepared for, that's what sucks because Heroes was probably one of the best series that I've watched in a long time. And it just was like, oh crap, what happened? That means, you know, the writers that are not, you know, the scab writers, right? That's what they call them. The ones that fill in, because the studios are not going to stop. That's the whole thing. They're going to continue, but you're going to get,
and there's always people that'll want to make the money. Always got somebody that'll scab. It's not.
If you ask the Sarlacc crew to write Star Wars stuff, I'm sure we would respect the picket lines, but I mean, we'd slip in a couple fan stories that we've written.
Sorry, folks. I'm taking my opportunity. I'm coming in.
Scott Solo is not my other identity. My true identity is a union member. Scott Solo is not a union member. So.
I haven't been a union member in like 20 odd years.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. So we got so we're but for the most part, there's not much news. Rumors and stuff besides like Ahsoka 2 being canceled. It's not even being announced, but anyway.
So dumb.
I know. It's so fun. I hate even bringing it up, but sometimes I do because it's laughable. And I think for the most part, we are all on the same page here.
We're on the same page. It's awesome. Let's talk about it.
That's right. So episode 3 dropped yesterday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Again,
no sooner, no later. I mean, at 6, dude. Like, I'm in there. I'm like, hello, 6 on the dot.
Done.
And Darth Moocher here. He's like, I'm gonna go radio silent. Don't it? You guys feel free to talk about it. As soon as it's done, I'm going radio silent. So as soon as it's over, Chris and I are like, oh my god, did you see that? Did you see? And he's like, and Mark was like, oops. I'll be back.
Well, it's so funny. I have it's my OCD. If I see on my app, if I see a dot that I've got to press, I've got to clear it. So I didn't read anything. I just had to clear it. And I'm like, I can't let that go. So, I had to watch it just a little bit late, but I think the car's still running when I was watching it. I ran in the house and watched it. It was called Time to Fly, episode 3, Time to Fly. And that, man, you could take that title in this entire episode and put it almost in every scene. Because it dealt with, Sabine and Ahsoka training. It dealt with actual physical flying, dogfighting, and probably the most controversial, but yet I thought was amazing. We're going to talk about this scene too. Was another spacewalk flight scene / whatever, and it was amazing. I'm sorry, dude.
I didn't have a problem with it at all.
No, dude, the way it was. I'm jumping ahead because I want to get into it, but
we all watched it. It doesn't matter where we start.
Yeah, that's true. But we'll first start talking about the Ahsoka Sabine training now, and there's a lot of things here. What's going on, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Okay, so at first, I almost don't really. I'm not invested into Sabine's training. And only the reason I'm saying this is because I don't know the end game yet, right? Like as a whole, the series, it might make perfect sense, all this things going on and stuff. But Ahsoka's pushing her so hard. Huang, I'm gonna call him Hu Tang. Hu Tang here is also kind of like not being discouraging, but at the same time,
he's done with it. He's like, "What are you doing? I'm ancient. This is not somebody you should be training. The Jedi wouldn't do this. They shouldn't do this. They have rules against it. She's the worst thing I've ever seen in all my time. She's
not Jedi material.
Oh, Hu Yang is on it, dude. He's close to my favorite droid ever at this point.
Yeah,
he's up there.
Yeah. Super cool.
Well, in Miss Sunflowers, this is exactly what it is. I just want to know why Ahsoka decided to train Sabine. So that's where I was trying to get at. Like,
you don't know the end game, right? It's the why. Why does Boba Fett need to lead a cartel instead of just being a bounty hunter? It's why does Ahsoka and Sabine, why are they training for Jedi when you could just, Kanan didn't train her as a Jedi. Okay, and neither is Ahsoka. Sorry, right. She said I don't need her to be a Jedi, I need her to be her. But yet she's trying. But yet she's trying to move.
Pushing the Force. Yeah, she's pushing the Force. She's pushing. Pushing. Yeah. She even said, your skill with the saber is not enough to defeat our enemies. Okay, then why? It's like, and that's the whole thing. Where you're like, okay, then why take Sabine on at this point? Because there's another little kid that wants to get in on the fight too that we'll talk about. But and there's also Luke Skywalker out there and Grogu. Ahsoka knows these things, but. Again, Endgame as a whole, it should pan out, right?
Okay. This scene on the screen, I gotta jump in real quick. Sorry, I can't see. How am I supposed to fight at this point? I'm rolling my eyes at this show right here in this episode. I'm like, I'm really not gonna like this episode. If we're just gonna keep throwing out tropes like that, like old stuff, I get it. But this is like the third, fourth time we've done this, and then they use almost the same line. I'm like, okay, I know that.
How am I supposed to fight? Right. Exactly.
Yeah, this is she almost said it the same way too.
Exactly.
Her inflection was really close. Yeah. These guys are already taking over the original crew, and I like it.
Right.
Don't use the same things. That's all.
Right. Exactly.
And through this, I didn't like this part, and I didn't like the other scene you just had up, Scott. If you can go back one, on the table, when they're talking on the table, and she starts popping off about how it's partial training. And it's talent has something to do with it, but basically everybody has the Force, and anybody can be. That's the part I don't necessarily love.
Yeah, because we have a conflicted, I guess, in our minds of all this stuff. For being a Star Wars fan for so long, we've talked about this forever. I mean, 20 years ago, go back and our line talk discussions is about this very subject about like. George Lucas did it with the midichlorians. You have to have an X amount of midichlorians to identify it's the living force and the mystical force kind of stuff blending. Yeah. I don't know if Ahsoka is like from a certain, again, I'm hoping it's this a certain point of view, or is this a complete foreshadowing that Sabine's going to save the day at that last minute again? And I'm using the analogy of moving rocks because Luke Skywalker said, the force is more than just moving rocks, but Ahsoka is almost echoing that, so
I know we talked about this last week. I'm not sure if we talked about it online or if we talked about it off air afterwards, and that is for me growing up, whenever, because I grew up, of course, like you guys did with the original trilogy, right? And I always thought of the Force as magic. It was always a magical thing. And Yoda and Ben both said, the Force resides in everything. It's,
yes.
I always, hear me out here.
Yeah.
But I always strove to, as a kid, I wanted to be Luke Skywalker because I felt like if it's in everybody, then anybody can do it if they believe they could and they worked hard at it and they tried. That's what
Ahsoka's implying. Yes. Go ahead. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And then whenever the prequels came out, one of the main things I disliked about the prequels when they debuted was the introduction of the midichlorians and making it biological. But so I'm divided because I'm equal parts. I love this because it's back to that feeling of whenever I was a kid, if you work hard enough, you could do this. You could be a Jedi if you trained at it, But at the same time, I'm like, but shit. George Lucas established this. Lucas made the midichlorians. He made it a thing. It's like the Force Ghost thing. It used to be, you died, you became a Force Ghost. But then he made, every Jedi has to jump through 10 flaming hoops in the middle of the outer rim in order to become a Force Ghost.
It makes it not special.
If everybody is super, nobody is. Right?
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. And that's what Ahsoka's implying in this monologue here or dialogue here was it's implied that if you work hard enough, you could do it. And it's almost like the perfect analogy is learning
talent
to draw.
Helps.
Everybody can learn.
People are better.
Everybody can learn to draw, but talent helps. And that just kind of diminishes a certain point, you know.
I get it,
especially in the Force, you know, the Force and everything. And when I took about the Force resides in everybody, I thought I took that as like your energy is part of the Force and everything, not necessarily like you could tap into it. The special people could tap into it, but you're part of
between the rock and the tree and the land and the ship. The ship's not using the Force,
right?
You know,
it's all part of the energy.
Force,
yeah.
No, I get it. But then again, you know, a rock and a tree and a ship can't train to do it.
Well, that's so, what Chris was saying.
It's
I could train Hu Yang,
right?
No, I'm saying you couldn't literally.
Hey,
right? But he would be able to train. He is training.
There's been a Jedi droid before
in Legends, and Skippy's a joke.
Skippy was great. Come on now,
oh, man.
Well, here Ryan Smith joining us in the pit also, but this is a good point too, and I actually wouldn't mind it so much. This comment, he's saying I think Sabine is going to turn out like Chirrut from Rogue One, not necessarily able to use the Force, but be in tune with it. And
like Maz, they've been establishing that, I suppose.
Yes, I'm, and here's the thing. Again, once we see the series play out and everything, we'll kind of like visit this discussion. Yeah. But I like that idea.
Well, like I said, I didn't like the idea at all at first of her training with Ahsoka about the Jedi thing. Then they cleared it up in the first week, right? About how her talent sucks. It's just I guess the question is, I trust that we'll get to it because they got immediately to the training part anyway. The scene. Why this part then? She doesn't have to move cups or move rocks or do anything.
Yeah. And now, did Ahsoka set this up for her, or is this Sabine just kind of like, doing it on her own? Or was, like I said, was this like, I know Ahsoka left her, said, start small, right? And she did the cup and left the room, and Sabine did it, but like took it literally. But here's the thing. It's like, did Ahsoka just say that as a hey, you're training,
she didn't sit there and tell her, let's move this cup together. She left.
Like start small here and then do it, right? She did it and then
just showing her something, because she even moved it slow to herself. Start small, because knowing what Ahsoka can do.
Yeah. So. Papa Smitty, I'd like Rosario to move past stoic and smug soon. Yeah. Because
they made her that in Rebels. Yeah, they made her that in Rebels. I don't think she's
really trying. Yeah, they're really trying to sell us on it, which I don't need no more selling. I think Rosario Dawson is Ahsoka. Enough said. Boom. Anything now, it's like it's perfect to me. But I kind of get that comment. I get it.
I do too, because we I'm rewatching Clone Wars right now, and she's all bubbly. She's a teenager, she's bubbly and happy and all that. When I was a teenager, I wasn't necessarily bubbly, but I was definitely, chipper, and now I'm stoic. But but still, it's just they've established it.
Yeah,
they established it in Rebels moving forward, and but still, the facial expressions and the body language and everything is dead on accurate, even to her younger self. It's there. It's all there.
It is dead on accurate.
I think we'll see some different personality with her when the Anakin episode, which I think is next week, right? It's either next week is Thrawn or next week is Anakin, and the vice versa. 4 and 5 is what I've heard. Right. Okay. That's what I'm assuming around Blow Our Minds stuff. So I'm assuming 5 is Anakin, probably. I thought Thrawn, but I think it's Anakin. I think that's when we'll see a different personality from her, because I think number 1, we'll get flashbacks. Number 2, when she sees Anakin and they have a discussion or whatever, if it's a Force ghost or whatever happens, I think there'll be emotion and she'll break this stoic right there.
Yeah, they got to get some emotions behind that right there. You know what I mean? A little bit more, and
that's where her emotion's going to come from, is Anakin.
Yeah. I do want to bring this point up too. Miss Sunflower saying maybe Ahsoka is more comfortable training someone without the Force, less likely to turn into the dark, turn to the dark side. Because she mentioned fear in Grogu. It is. I mean, that's a true statement. And also, if she's trying to make Sabine a warrior to help her out in this new threat that's coming on, Ahsoka has to have her reason. And she even, I mean, there is some banter behind with Hu Yang's comments and Ahsoka's comments about unorthodox training. The Jedi way.
Oh, that hold on, that line you can't stop there. Okay, the line about you come from a long line of unorthodox Jedi.
Yeah.
Something we've talked about on this show, which was awesome, because her lineage from Dooku to her they're all out of whack.
I love it, dude.
So, he nailed it. I absolutely love that comment. And right then, I'm all, they listen to us for sure.
Yeah.
That's been a topic.
Yeah.
That's been a topic more than one time. I love
and
it.
This is a direct line of Ahsoka pushing Sabine to this training. You know,
Yeah.
Huang is like, dude, none of this is by the book. And Ahsoka's like, so what? Like, that's the point. This is the point. It's not by the book. And then he's like, well, I guess you do come from some non-traditional, training. And then you're going to go back to all the Clone Wars stuff, all Ahsoka's life. And you're like, holy crap, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think his line of the day was when they came out getting shot at and he came back on and they told him he's all, well, standard operating procedure.
That's right.
I loved it. I love it. He's so good.
The banter, he was great in this, man. The banter of like she's like, it's standard protocol. Okay. And it's like, just
Makes
accept
sense.
it and go. Yeah. So
Yeah.
no, that was really cool. Again, a lot more questions are raised in this training of Sabine and Sabine's role in this whole thing, right? And that's what mad.
Right.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not like disappointed. I'm just like questioning now. I'm like, why is he pushing so hard? Yeah.
It was just, here's the weird. Okay, like I said, I could physically feel my eyes, hear my eyes roll in my head, everything when this was all going on. And I was like, I'm gonna be mad. This episode is gonna be a filler bullshit episode, right?
Right.
And then we got past that.
Yeah.
and
immediately.
The rest of it's gold.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
And it's a great.
Yeah.
Great episode.
We'll have to get past. Well, okay. So we're gonna have to get into the political, and this is where Chris is going. And I understand. And I get it all, man. The New Republic. What's going on?
You know what I'm gonna get mad at?
Yeah. What's going on with the New Republic? Before we get into Hera and stuff, but
made me
Hera
so angry.
Mon Mothma and and the senators here and Kaz's dad over there. To give you a little context, I forgot his name. What's his name?
I don't
Kaz's
care.
dad.
I don't know.
Okay,
Senator Ziona.
So again, we watch things so you don't have to. The cartoon Resistance, which was I don't know. They're making a connection here. That's the dude to the right of her right is the dad of the main character in Resistance, just to give you guys context of what we talked
mullet
about.
Dude right there.
We had a discussion in the chat and stuff like this with this whole scene about using Republic resources to chase down the threat that Hera is like, hey, Thrawn's out there. We need to go to this system because we're chasing ghosts at this point. And they have
it sounds like she's been crying wolf more than once too, by the way. I mean, he's being a dick, but it does sound like she's cried.
Okay, so that, or like we kind of mentioned, the whole thing about the last episode was this Empire loyalists that are still out there. And it's not far-fetched to say that they're still in the Senate. These loyalists are there trying to undermine every move too that has Mon's hands tied behind her back, because it is a democracy. She can't, you know what I mean?
Now it's a democracy. She can't do anything.
Well, it always has
she can't do anything. But look at her face. Here's the thing. This is the leader of the damn Republic, right? She can't give any kind of aggressive look. She got scolded for talking about Jason and Hera, right? She got scolded by this guy. Who is she? She's the damn chancellor.
Yeah. He was like, move this along, please. Kind of.
Yeah, you know what? You can sit. Who talks to the chancellor like that? You talk to Palpatine like that. See what happened.
Right.
You saw his kid. You saw what his kid do. You know he's not coming from good stock right there. So.
No, but I mean in general, it's just like this guy. They have no respect. She doesn't say anything besides "How's the kids?" And then when they start talking about she drops her head like a whipped puppy again. She's horrible. Who let this girl in charge? Where's Leia?
Where's Leia? That's the question.
Save the damn galaxy. This is horrible.
That's the question.
Yeah, Leia's got to show up in one of these, right?
Yeah, and Chris, I agree with you, man. I agree with it, because later on when we find out the Renewed Republic is not going to help out Sabine and Ahsoka, it's like, okay, what are we doing here, guys?
Yeah, it's like Rebels. It's like the fifth call they've made to Mon Mothma for help.
And it's a no every time.
It's no, I can't do it
every time.
It is, man. Yeah, it is. And like I said, I'm not defending. I just like Andor series. Okay, I like the Andor series.
But you know what? I mean, okay. How about this? The worst character development in all of Star Wars is Mon Mothma. She has not gone up one bit. She is the same character.
Yeah. You're right in that, because we had such a different idea of who she was.
I did
at the original trilogy. Man, the leader of this person we don't even know. She came out and said one line, two lines, whatever, and it was like this in our heads. She was the leader of the rebellion and did all and saved and made all these decisions. Now she's sitting there going like, I'm a pushover. Tell me what I'm going to say. No, okay, no, yes, okay, yes. And I understand it in Andor. I don't understand it at this point. Like I told you, at this point, at the New Republic, it doesn't. It's just like stop already and open your eyes.
I have a bit of a thought about that though, because she's now the Chancellor of the New Republic, right?
Right.
And they just got through with an empire where the other senators had no say whatsoever. I think she is overdoing it the other direction. I think instead of being a leader and leading, she's kowtowing to other senators with fear that, you know, that she doesn't want to come across as another Palpatine,
especially with all this imperial loyalty still out there and being proven that it's still out there. She's still like, you know what I mean? But yeah, Papa Schmitty, WOSD, what would Saul do? That should be, someone should
crack
tell that to Mon. Someone should, there should be an episode where Mon gets kind of like, hey, I mean, hindsight, we know what's coming. They don't know what's coming. So there is that too. I mean, if they're chasing ghosts, then there's this thing like, okay, we can't just like spread our resources too thin, or maybe they're just not enough to go around after this. The damage of the Galactic War or the Civil War was more impactful than we think there was, and they're trying to make that a point. I don't know.
The more I thought about it, is I don't like his father, obviously, right?
Right.
And if he wasn't coming across the way he was coming across, he's making sense.
Yeah.
Right. Like he's not. If he wasn't being a douche about how he was saying it and everything, he's like, look, if he would have said like some stats, Hera, look, you have asked us 5 times to go after searching for Ezra to no avail. We have searched the galaxy for Thrawn. We have sent fleets.
That would have been a lot better, huh?
We are through with this discussion. Thrawn is dead. Ezra is dead. I'm sorry to tell you, and that's where we're all at. And that's how you talk about it, right? Not act like a dick about it.
Yeah.
And then,
well, instead, Hera came at him with like, "Oh, were you in the war?" And you just waited to see who won.
Oh, that was
great. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. What did you do during the war, Senator?
Yeah, what did you do?
Yeah. That was great.
Lunar Girl, Mon must be still married to that weenie Baron,
right? Probably. I'm sure he dies in Andor too.
I hope so too. Yeah. I mean, Rick Jones is saying managing a republic isn't fighting an empire. Yeah. Again, there's a lot of things. Again, and hindsight because what Chris just said made it so much more in perspective about like Hera. And you know what? And it would, if they said that, it would reflect the Rebels cartoon also, because how many times did she ask and say like there's like Lothal, calling help for Lothal all the time when there was other things that they were doing, but you know, it always ends up being like Lothal actually did need help, you know.
But it's only so many. Exactly. And it's always Hera, but she is a general and she's supposed to be the one making that decision.
She's a general, exactly. Know? And I like the way that she throws that around. She's military. They're not. They're politicians. She's military. She could talk to them that way. And I like that.
It's the second time in the series so far she's throwing her weight around being a general too. It's
the
last episode.
Do you get the vibe it doesn't work?
Well, it's not working.
She tossed title twice and it didn't matter. They started shooting at her in one and blew her off in the second.
So again, there's that still uncomfortable easiness within the New Republic with its military or defense league or whatever it is, and the politicalness of everything. There's still that nobody trusts each other. There's a lot of things going on. But we did get a confirmation of a new character, Spectre 7, right? You know, All right, guys. I'm gonna say this right now. All right. The cartoon be damned. I like this kid. Even the little moment that we had here, I was like, oh hell yeah, this works for me.
I'm good.
I want to know about the pit too. If it worked for the pit too. I mean, the green hair, okay, whatever. It's
It was muted though. It was muted green hair. It wasn't the bright fluorescent green that it was in the
still doesn't make sense about the
that's it. It's funny because we had talked about this somehow. Oh, good, the Lego's brown. Maybe they figured out that it was silly because Hera doesn't have hair.
Even her eyebrows are brown.
Right,
her eyebrows are brown. They're not green.
She don't have green hair, man.
I mean, I know we've never seen a half Twi'lek before, but I mean, put a little bit of effort into it.
Like,
well, you don't know where his tails are.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa! He's got.
I'll see myself out.
Wait a second, Papa Schmidt. Let's be honest; those orange pants are the highlight of the show. I'm not disagreeing with you, Papa Schmidt. Green hair and all that. Yeah, that was the thing. The Lego set didn't have his green hair, right? It was brown hair, and the Lego set
brown.
like,
it looked brown. Get this. Yeah. Okay, so we got Jason and Chopper chilling. We're gonna end up with Jason, Ben, Chopper, and R2 all together, the 4 of them.
Oh my god,
and Mon calling that out too. Jason's, making trouble with Chopper, or something. Freaking A. I ordered Chopper today again. I don't care. So I was gonna say, I have him in the Rebels Black Series. I'm like, no, I got to get Chopper and R2.
A bit of difference. There's not a bit of difference.
He's dirtier in this one, but I still ordered him. I know. I still had to. God,
what a great droid too. This show's full of them. This is great.
Yeah.
I like that comment right there. He's going to be a sociopath hanging out with Uncle Chopper.
I wish he'd call him Uncle Chopper. That'd
be amazing. Right? Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
But the fact that this is working for me. Again, this little interaction is working for me. I'm comfortable with this, and for Dave Filoni doesn't need my approval, but I'm just saying, I'm good with this as a viewer. I felt good. It felt
okay.
Good.
The kid was in it for 5. Sorry, the kid was in it for like 30 seconds, right?
Yeah,
and he already has twice the style that anybody in the sequel trilogy had. I mean, that looks like a Star Wars costume or a Star Wars uniform.
I agree. I agree.
I was wanting to see. I was hoping that in the final movie of the sequels, we'd see Rey getting out of something that's a little flowy
and not the same.
Looked like a rebel.
Yeah. To be fair, it was one long day, so she didn't have time. But yes, I did.
That's very true.
Miss Sunflower, he looked like Kanan too. I mean, that was, and the fact that he goes, I want to be a Jedi because Sabine was off being trained, and
I could
foreshadowing.
I could see him kicking off Skeleton Crew.
That would be
awesome. Like, because I would see the Empire right now, Thrawn's people coming after the kids. Right,
and they get kind of
Isn't that the Skeleton Crew's premise? It's a bunch of kids, maybe Force sensitives, that are being hidden.
They get lost. Well, they get lost.
He gets tied up with them.
That'd be cool,
right,
man.
and that's kind of kicks off how they're all going to intermingle just a little bit. That could do,
dude. That's I want to see that now.
Yeah, because
he looks like if Jason was part of that group,
right?
Sure.
So,
something happens in this series where they get displaced and Jason gets lost, and then you watch Skeleton Crew, and it's that whole story of that. I mean, why not, dude?
Yeah, make it all connect.
Gordon, okay, wait, just I'm a little concerned that being left her Lothcat all alone on Lothal. So.
It's a feral Lothcat.
Yeah, feral.
He's got a cat. He's got a cat door. He's fine.
Yeah, the cat's Oh no! Jason dies in Luke's Academy. Rick Jones,
stop it, Rick Jones, stop it.
Yeah, I'm telling. It's going to be
get help.
Ben takes out Jason and Grogu in a double lightsaber move. Just slice one shot.
But then so this episode is really kind of like really segmented, fast. Really perfect. Yeah, it's fast. It's only 34 minutes. It was very
credits
segmented.
And recap.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was kind of, but. I was in on it. Like you said, it was kind of starting to be like this filler. And I always said like third episodes of everything always slow down a little bit and bring a little levity to the situation. But it actually picked up right here after this was when Ahsoka, Sabine, and Huang went to, it was the Denab system, but I don't know what planet. It was that same planet.
Cetos. They're outside of Cetos, yeah.
Yeah. So and that's when they get, they mix it up with Merrick and Shin as a dogfight. And like Scott's saying, it's a perfect reminiscent, almost a perfect reenactment of the Falcon leaving the Death Star and having that dogfight. You know what I mean? It was the tail gunner.
Some straight up shots where you're seeing the or not TIE fighters, but Shin's ship coming right at him like a TIE.
Yeah. So two major things that I took from this scene. Again, it's not just a throwaway scene. The first one is Merrick talking. Okay, Merrick communicating and talking to Shin in this dogfight scene going on. The
modulated voice, very
the
cool.
over modulated, and
again, you don't want to recognize Freddie Prinze Jr.'s voice.
I mean, I always, and again, I'm just putting this out there, like they did it with Leia and Bosch. that over modulated voice to fool the audience that wasn't Leia at that time. And I felt like this was it here. And again, it could be Merrick, could just be Merrick. But that's boring sometimes.
There's too many clues. There's too many. If it was just Merrick, the voice wouldn't be modulated like that.
Right.
Completely masked, right? If it was just
they're hiding
Merrick,
something,
Merrick wouldn't mean what it means. It wouldn't have a meaning of it was a knight that got turned into a wolf by a witch named Morgan. Right. And what does Kanan turn into after he died in Rebels? Or what is it? It's the Doom Wolf. Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's all there. It's all there. This is going to be because it's the most emotional thing that could possibly happen to this crew. Sure. Luke would be huge for us. Right. Windu would be funny for anybody else. A clone Kanan would break this crew. It would break Hera.
Devastating.
Yeah.
Devastating to everybody.
And because somebody's going to have to take him out.
Right.
Yeah. But it raises so many questions like, did they get the whole force sensitive clone thing down to the point where you've got somebody who can actually wield the force, and make it work?
Probably because they were close, right? They had figured they were close. They have all those Jedi in their little catacombs.
They were close with Gideon. So, I mean, but Gideon, you get the feeling that Gideon just finished that project. It was brand new, and
it was like phase 1 of something that could have been perfected. Yeah.
Right. So how long ago did they clone Kanan? How did they get that to work? There's a lot of questions that it's also Star Wars. You could just kind of freaking go with it, and okay. And
they're gonna say, remember, he got trapped. He got captured by Thrawn and on Lothal, right? So his DNA was easy to take. That was an easy connection. It's
been 12 years.
I know he got blown up.
And he's probably not perfect. He's probably disfigured. Something wild is going on, and he's mentally screwed up. So he's probably not perfect.
Right.
It's either that or it's Starkiller, but those are the only two options. But Starkiller
would just fall so flat. I really think it would fall flat.
Yeah, you'd have to have a whole backstory about you may have been Anakin's Padawan, but I was Vader's apprentice. That would be cool,
right?
But it needs a way bigger setup than it's getting. Because if you had that
they almost ruined it with all the canon content. Even the EU stuff, it ruined it. It was a one-off. It was like a one-off comic kind of deal, and it works as a side story. It doesn't work with this whole thing. It's just not enough time. There's not enough time it's just right now. Okay, so right now there are two schools of thought with Merrick right now. Right now, one, and I've been seeing this a lot. A lot of people are trying to decipher a familiar face, like we were saying. Theorycraft is a clone. Somebody familiar. Some that's good, like I said, Kanan, Luke, a clone, all that stuff.
Nobody said Kanan, but here it's Ezra. It's Barriss.
Yeah, that's right.
I said I would like Barriss. Yeah,
or it's Luke, but it's big for Barriss. But those are pretty much it, right? Or it's Starkiller.
Yeah. The thing is, Starkiller would fall flat. Barriss would mean something to Ahsoka, but nobody else. It really wouldn't have the emotional gravitas to it.
Same with Luke.
Luke would be just. I'm sorry. I know I'm not a big a fan of the original Thrawn trilogy as you are, but I always thought that was silly. But the clone of Luke with the 2U, I thought that was silly. But I don't think it would have the same impact as Kanan. I mean,
Luke would have the impact on the overall.
That's exactly what I
family.
was saying. That's the only one that makes sense because of that. It's the only one that can affect them all. That's it.
Yeah. And there's no way Ezra could be there because Ezra is lost with Thrawn. Everybody that keeps saying,
if Ezra's back, then Thrawn's back already.
And Ezra was never. I can't think of a time where Ezra was trapped the way Kanan was trapped. Like Kanan was tied up and buckled, and when they captured Ezra, he was still Jabba the Hutt, right?
Yeah. He was just in the prison.
Right, he was just in the prison, but everybody else gets trapped, buckled, and tested and screwed up with the torture droid. So they have to.
Yeah.
So Ezra doesn't make sense. It does at all.
Right. I was just getting to this. But it's like the two schools of thought. One being like we're trying to pinpoint who, like, make Merrick somebody we know, and also is he's just a new character, a made up character for this purpose, hired or the last of the Inquisitors that dropped his the brother name and just became working for the dark side.
Totally cool with it.
That's fine too.
To Miss Sunflower, will we be disappointed if it's Merrick and not anyone else? Just Merrick. No, I'm quite fine with it. It would just be like, why did you drop all the breadcrumbs? And that's just to make us
for a cool character, right?
Because he wants to hear us. Filoni's listening to us. He's all, I'm going to screw with the Sarlacc guys. Watch.
That's true. I mean, here's the thing, though. We've got Balin and Shin who are already like stealing the show for me as far as bad guys.
100%.
Merrick, it's like I don't need Merrick just to be there as a cool character. I mean, yes,
that's the trick. They haven't talked about, okay, to bring up Ray Stevenson for a second. They haven't talked about future with him, right?
They haven't
at all. I really think his story is going to end here because he's kind of that wishy-washy one, right?
Yeah.
I think, and this is not just the Ahsoka show. This is Ahsoka show, Skeleton Crew, Mando 4, everything going into a movie by Filoni.
Yes.
So it's got time.
This is like a chapter.
Merrick is going to end up being a big bad. I think here he's going to end up being pretty strong.
Sure.
He reminds me a lot of Rinsler in the Tron 2 or the Tron Legacy, where Rinsler was this really badass looking orange and black warrior that never took his mask off, but then at the end you realize, oh, that was Tron the whole time. That thing.
Taking the name Merrick, but it's actually like Ezra. I mean, just saying Ezra. But why did you call him? Yeah.
I'm getting those same vibes from him.
Sure.
So,
I kept saying
again. Why would it do that? Why would Merrick be the knight that turned this? Kanan is the only knight that turned into a wolf. It's the only. Yeah. It's got to make too damn sense. I'm mad at Filoni if it doesn't happen. This is the one thing I think in this show they can screw me up. Is I've got myself. I told you guys in the chat. I'm convinced myself so much that it's Kanan now. I think I'm going to be upset unless it's just.
Well, there you go. It depends on what we're given as 8 episodes, and if Merrick ends up being just a guy who.
But remember, 6 months ago I was going to be upset if they didn't have Mace Windu. So
that's true. You're right.
We're good.
Ryan Smith here brings up a really good question, and this is something that I've seen a lot of discussion about. We don't even know what Baylan and Shin's intentions are yet. What is the power that they even are looking for? Can't just be to find Thrawn. And,
who had? I saw something interesting. Was it in our chat?
I think it was in our chat. Yeah.
And I forgot who posed or what the talk was, but it's
about the remnants of the world between worlds, the gateway. Being on the Chimera,
right?
Because that's where the Emperor and Ezra had their conversation, right? I don't know that I ever paid attention to it or cared that it was on the Star Destroyer, but I think
I forgot about that.
But I do.
Like I didn't even notice that.
It was, but Ezra destroyed it whenever he rejected his parents, the image of his parents, and rejected Palpatine. He thrust his arms out, and the thing just shattered. He used the Force and destroyed it.
But I guess 12 years later,
the pieces
can rebuild
are there.
It. I guess, yeah, exactly. Just put it back on top of each other. It's stone.
So that could
there's
be
a possibility.
Or is it just the fact that he can get to Peridia? And there's something on Peridia that he knows about. There's different types of Force users, different ways to use the Force, different Force
Starforge.
Because
I'm just
because
Starforge and Starforge. Yeah.
And it was a fairy tale told to the children of the Jedi Temple of this Peridia, and it is. I think I saw somewhere that is what the words say on the map is Peridia whenever it shows that world.
And all the lines, all the paths end at Peridia.
Yes,
when you look at every one of them, the very last thing there is all the lines coming in. It's where the Virgos live. It's with the circle around there. That's their
right. And
they shoot you their places to eat or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the original Tales of the Jedi back in Legends, you had the pyramid ships that just showed up one day, and that's what they bore the force wielding people that populated the galaxy, the Star Wars galaxy. It'd be interesting if that's where that originated. Peridia was the original location of force wielders. That would be interesting, and that would be a very big.
That's what I'm saying.
That could set up the 25,000 year prior.
Yeah.
We started to go to Peridia.
This goes beyond a galaxy far, far away kind of stuff. Because there's galaxies now far away.
Far away.
They say that about the unknown regions too in the book. It says in a galaxy far away. It throws in a third.
Gotcha.
In the unknown regions. So
that's right. Yeah.
Let's see. So is Peridia a planet or
I see it as a planet?
I thought it was the Peridia galaxy is what that's what that was called. That's
hard to tell, but it seems like it was pointing right to one, and it did have the letters right next to the one. I thought.
Okay, so we're assuming right now
it could also be a system. You know how they always name the system after
the nav
a planet,
system, Hoth system. Yeah, got it.
You're right.
So your guess is as good as ours right now. Because of that map and the end credits and everything that we saw, or even in the map that Morgan said, we're gonna say it's a planet at this point.
Because it goes
otherwise proven.
Mandalorian, Corellia. It's so cool to look at them and be like, oh yeah, man, this path is going through our major Star Wars planets.
It is, man. And that path is the Purgle migration pattern, and we get to see it.
Somebody in our chat said that last week, and somebody said it was the migration paths of the Purgles, and I'm like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. And sure shit, it was. And I was looking for that comment to give him credit, but I couldn't find who made that comment.
Yeah,
you've been blowing his mind about migration, comment person.
Yeah,
right. It's a freaking migration, but who would have thought?
The Purgle.
Everybody but Scott.
Yeah,
watch the credits.
So this is a good question because someone translated the map, and it's also the same writing on Boba Fett's throne in Book of Fett.
Mm-hmm.
So I
didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's the same writing, and obviously someone they could have just been made it out of their pulled out of their ass.
They figured it out through using star maps. They figured out what they are, but they had to piece it together, so they don't have all the letters yet.
That's right, because there are some question marks and some blank spaces there.
They have a key. They have a key, but it's not completely filled out. All the planets they have are the ones they could figure.
Yeah. So that was the Merrick talk is going to continue, and that's the point of it. That's the point. We're not going to get an answer till episode 8.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
We're not going to get an answer on Merrick. We might not get an answer on Merrick at all.
Yeah,
and that's,
like
that's
I said,
going to be the big
not.
reveal, man. That's going to be. You let that build for 2-3 shows and get in.
Yeah, I agree. Like, started as a lonely assassin, all of a sudden it's like this, But the other important piece about that whole dogfighting thing, which I took, which was actually really cool, and it kind of does go back and forth between Ahsoka and Sabine, is when I saw it as Ahsoka leaning into like realizing I have to work with Sabine and working on her strengths. And when they were working together for the dogfight, pivot now, turn right now. I thought that was a moment where Ahsoka had to calm herself and to trust Sabine too.
That's what it was. That's exactly what it was. Okay, you
cool.
tell me what you tell me what you need.
I thought that was great growth between the two, man. I really did. Because it goes back why was their relationship so filled with turmoil? And I think this is what it is, and they're both learning now to kind of trust each other going forward. So
I thought that was great. And the woo I got one was a Luke.
Oh yeah.
Don't get
great
cocky,
kid.
Sabine.
Yeah,
great kid. Don't get cocky.
Mando Mike checking in on the pit. That. Yeah, go watch Ahsoka, man. Come on, the hell you doing?
The hell
you've been home.
Yeah.
No excuses.
And then the whole Hu Yang thing about scanning the when they're coming across the biggest hyper,
it's just a straight hyperspace ring. It's not going to pull anything. It's a hyperspace ring.
Yeah,
they're going to shoot across galaxies in this. 7,
6 or 7 super star destroyer engines in it.
There's 3 on each side and 1 on the bottom, and then the bridge on top, which is weird. You think it would just flip from the bottom to the top, like head over, or feet over head.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I was in a conversation with a friend of mine today who's like, I don't get it. What don't you get?
Explaining it so clearly.
It makes it go faster. It's the difference between owning a Prius and a GT. It's there's a difference. You bigger engine, go faster. Move
faster. What Hu Yang said it's longer distances and faster to get to. And Ahsoka says to get to maybe another galaxy because she knows what they're. Ahsoka knows what they're after. So and they're confirming that, which is really cool.
7 super star destroyer hyperdrive cores.
7.
That's a lot of stuff going on.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's and like I said, dude, I wish it was like Thrawn found the Star Forge. He brings the Star Forge there and back, and then the Emperor takes it for the fleet on Exegol. I mean, that makes so much sense.
And that's what Balin's after. And Balin's going to explain that he has the holocron of Darth Revan and blah blah blah. And it's all going to get in here.
Maybe Balin set up the cookie the cookie crumbs for the knife, the whole thing on Endor.
Jesus.
Maybe Balin's the one who set everything up. You stand right here at this point.
Oh my
and you
God.
can pin. Yeah, I mean, maybe the ultimate power he's talking about is the Emperor's return. You know what I mean?
Oh, maybe, dude.
Oh, wow.
The Starforge itself, and bring the Emperor back. You might be right.
The fleet, the Starforge, him, and their dark side.
The power to come back from death is the greatest power, right? So that's what he's thinking.
There you go.
And Palpatine is the only one that even had that inkling or that knowledge. You know what I mean? So,
interesting.
That's a good point.
It's a lot of things. It's almost like it's there. It's too easy, but it's also very cool. That journey is cool too. Like
sometimes that's what happens is we keep making it so complicated, and it's the one that's right in front of us that does work, and we're like, oh, that was simple.
But the journey is fun. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Miss Sunflower says, if Morgan can get Thrawn to that with that hyperspace ring, how will the Ghost crew get there? I think they're going to come back, and that's where the battle will be. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I don't think the crew's getting to Peridia.
No, I think we've only seen, and he's coming back, and it's going to be that big return. Yeah.
We've only seen scenes from the first. I'm assuming the first 4 episodes. I don't think we've seen anything past the first 4 episodes
on purpose,
so far,
except for the Thrawn. That one little whatever
that could be a scene in episode 4 too.
I'm betting Thrawn is next week, and then the week after is Anakin. That's it.
Okay, let's go. Darth Josepher checking in, and also we have Felipe is also checking in too. Just checking real fast. The Felipe is also saying Ahsoka's always been so calm. She's always seemed so calm and cool, even when in the heat of danger about. Yeah, that's true. And it is an older Ahsoka, wiser Ahsoka too. So real
quick, we started on this with the space fight. Can we touch on?
Yeah. Of course.
I think that would have bugged anytime else, right? Like if that was in a movie, that wouldn't have flown. If that was in Last Jedi, we'd have ripped him apart, right?
Are we talking about
outside
the extra
the ship?
Vehicular?
Oh, okay. Yes, this deal, right?
You're right. 100%.
Right, this would never have flown. Now, to me, at first you go, and then you're like, you know what? I'm okay with this because they have established this in the Clone Wars.
They have established
Yes, they did.
Since we've seen this and we've watched the animation, not a big deal. However, I am getting to the point where I can see that if people didn't watch the cartoons, they will either not understand a few things or really roll their eyes at some shit like this.
I'm sure, dude. I'm sure people are going, "Oh, it's Leia spacewalk again."
Yeah, no, not at all.
Right?
But I don't care.
There was 2 scenes. It was this one, and then when she was floating past the cockpit, the floating past the cockpit, when Sabine says like, "Where are you?" She's like, "I'm outside," and that was like
funny.
A total Clone Wars / Rebels moment that I was just like, "Oh hell yeah, that worked. That was cool."
Yeah.
That funny little banter kind of, or that whatever, and I mean, the scene was cool, man. It was,
and it looked good. It looked
good. Let's put it there. Good. Yeah, she took a ship out with lightsabers.
Yeah, she's right about 2 here. It was awesome.
It was really cool, man. I dug it because you know what? They didn't overdo it here. She did it. Yeah. She did it once. She got back in, and just to buy him enough time to get out of there. And I think that's why it worked. If she sat there and took them all out and did all these things, like Filoni knows when to say when. You know what I mean? And I think they did a very good job on that too. It's like do it. It was fun. It was a cool scene. It was a cool move, and it got right back in. And
it was established for us, so not a big deal, right? That's what I had to think right there. But
yeah,
really cool. Good shit.
Yeah, absolutely, Ryan Smith. So, trying to read the chat here, get caught up. This is the Ray flip. Yeah, it was a kind of the same move. I don't know, Darth Joseph. I don't know. Why didn't the super chat come up? I didn't
try again.
I had seen nothing.
Don't try.
don't click twice.
I appreciate it so much, but yeah, I don't know. Nothing popped up over here. So, So,
but thank you ahead of time, Darth Josepher.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that says a lot. Just the fact that. Remember, I was saying, like, okay, as I'm going through this episode, and then these those scenes like that happen, I was just like, well, it was fun, and I felt myself like, holy shit, but smirking at it, smiling at it, going like, that was awesome. That's Star Wars. That's something. It wasn't over the top ridiculous, but it was almost at that teetering that edge where it's like, but I've seen this happen, play out so many times in the cartoons that it was like fluent. It was just, yeah.
It worked. It just worked, you know. And it's
Felipe, that's true too. It would have been nice to see her use the Force to crush one of them or do something. Yeah, I mean, the only thing that we've seen her do is pull a cup, I think, so far as Force goes.
Yeah, it is weird that they don't, but the heroes don't usually crush stuff.
She pushed away HK droids, you know, the HK
That's
droids
right, she did,
in Merrick. She pushed them away.
Yeah.
And she jumps a lot.
She does.
Yeah.
She jumps more than anybody, which fits because that was something I was worried about too. Because we've talked about that, how in animation these guys flip like in that space thing right there, jumping on ships Ahsoka. From far away. Ahsoka is jumpy as hell. So everything there has worked out pretty well. Hey, as a matter of fact, in the last week when she jumped out of that thing, right, and came out the window and landed, I was waiting for her to pull the. She could have done that. Not the right background, but.
Exactly. Thank you, Gordon. We really appreciate it. Nice.
Gordon with the super chat. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, buddy.
We appreciate it. Hell yeah, man. That's awesome. Miss Sunflower, this is one for the Rebels fans. Absolutely. Next episode, again, because they're setting up in a couple more scenes about Shin and Sabine. I don't know if they're going. Yeah, because she says that you have no powers or something like that, right?
Yeah, they're in a forest dueling.
Yeah, it's so funny.
And
checkmark trailer, you know, like scenes.
Exactly.
Like,
and Balin and Ahsoka are fighting around the stone circle.
Coming. Yeah.
And see, I'm thinking all of that's happening while Morgan takes off and goes and gets Thrawn. And by the end of it, she's back and she's got Thrawn because you know it's a real quick turnaround trip to Peridia.
It is with that thing.
Yeah, I know, right?
Darth Josepher, Shin is a beast, though. I'm starting to think she's going to be a major character throughout the series. 100%. Cool. And then, like Chris was saying, you know, there is no hints on Balin's inevitable outcome or whatever. Shin can really take over that thing. There was some banter between Shin and Morgan, that a respect kind of thing that's in. And I know all the bad guys in Star Wars do this to each other. I know they're always trying to one up or have like the competition is real. Yeah, it's real. Yeah. Like Morgan thought she killed him. She's like, good job, but I'm going to finish the job. You know what I mean? Like,
she's like, hey, congratulations, you almost had him.
Yeah, congratulations.
There it is, yeah.
I'm in love with Shin. I like her.
Yeah, she's right, dude. She's right. So, to that point, right, she doesn't trust the witch. I don't know how long she's going to last, Morgan. I think she'll last for a minute, right? But in the end, I think Merrick and Shin team up here, and they take out, I mean, that's the combo. I think the Merrick
and Shin,
the Merrick twist at the end, or near the end, will show these two together. And her taking Balin out. It'll mix up because they're all mercenaries, right? I mean, besides Shin and Balin are obviously connected in some way. For I don't know for how long, but Merrick's completely separate as a mercenary, and Morgan's just loyal to Thrawn. So it's like it's a lot of ego.
What if we do get the revelation that it is a clone of Luke under there, and we've got a Luke and Mara Jade situation going here between? Merrick
this is the heir of the Empire. It says the heir to the Empire. It's mentioned. I don't know how true or how they can bring it in, but this is basically how those books started. I mean,
you know, it's a stretch. I still think it's going to end up being Kanan, a clone of Kanan, or nobody at all.
Well,
but
also too, it's absolutely could be the whole thing about Ahsoka going to Luke, bringing him in this fight, and then Shin, you know, having that Mara Jade thing.
Whoa. Julianne Fernie with the $10.
Darth Josepher, we're on fire today. What is happening? What's going on? Where's Amazon?
Where's Amazon? All right, from that, we're going to revamp our logo again because we had no money.
I know, right? Oh, God, back to the drawing board.
$.
Thank you so
guys,
much,
navigation paths, probs. Hondo knows best would be a great opening door. Love y'all. Thank you so much, Julie. So very possible. Our Hondo talk gets more popular almost on every level. So,
you know, we need it's got to happen eventually.
Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you, Darth Josepher. Hondo's got to happen eventually, right? And between this or the skeleton crew, right? I keep thinking we got to see this dude show up eventually.
I would think here because only because it's Filoni, right? And to the point of the 5th episode being Filoni's episode, I know somebody on here had mentioned it. That means it's Thrawn or Anakin or both. It would also make sense to bring in Hondo. Even at the end, if you just mentioned we're going to need to get some help.
That's right.
And that's when you end up with Hondo.
If the New Republic isn't going to help, then they're very good at who can we pay to help us then?
No, you pay
the guy who says, I would do anything for that boy. For Ezra Bridger, and that's who you go to.
And the leader who has some cojones and asks for Leia Organa.
I mean, come on. Yeah, exactly. 007, what if it's the real Luke and ST Luke is in the phone? So what if Merrick is the real Luke and the one that Ahsoka and we all got introduced to was, and then Grogu knew that, and Grogu knew that. That's why he left. That's why he didn't want to be.
This is the bullshit you have to deal with the world between world multiverse.
Yeah.
That's why we can't have it, because that would happen. And everybody, I don't do it. Please don't do it anymore.
Yeah, please don't. Yeah.
That's
Tim Van Gilder. Merrick pulls off the helmet, and it's Hondo saying something about the helmet needs
air. We've got. We've got Rick Jones popping in saying the same thing. Sam Witwer. Yeah, it was leaked. He was in Ahsoka.
So he's in the credits. He's in the credits.
Is he the voice?
Additional voices.
Additional voice.
So in that whole when Morgan was getting all those whispers, or when Ahsoka all those whispers she heard when she was touching the temple things in the first episode, and when Morgan was talking about Thrawn, there was a bunch of whispers. I'm wondering if that's his credit on that.
That was last week.
Is Merrick's voice credited? Because he could be voicing. It doesn't mean that he's Darth Maul. I'm just saying that.
Not yet.
Oh,
he could be voicing Merrick. Yeah.
Was Merrick's voice credited this week?
Yeah, that's the question, because Witwer could be voicing Merrick.
Last week it was Witwer as additional voices. You're right, and then Merrick didn't speak.
Okay.
Oh, you're right. Hold on.
I know,
maybe that voice was that voice that didn't sound like Thrawn could have been Palpatine talking to Morgan. I listened to it a couple of times and it didn't sound like Thrawn. I was trying to get. Let me hear Thrawn.
Right. Because. Again, the only voices that we heard was the whispers when Ahsoka touched the temple, when Morgan was explaining the map, and she said, something about Thrawn speaks to me, and it was, again, that whole speaking to you. I've been your voice the whole time. It's been the Emperor.
We've got an actor named Paul Darnell playing Merrick, but it does not say if that was the voice or just the actor, the guy in the suit.
Right. Interesting though that Sam Witwer was asked to do something that wasn't that recognizable, and was just kind of, like I said, even if it's a whisper or whatnot. So the voice of Merrick would make a lot of sense to me.
That's what got all the rumors really started about Starkiller. It really was.
He's done additional voices in the past that were not necessarily credited as anything other than senator number whatever in certain scenes.
The whisper makes complete sense, dude.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, now I want to hear the whisper now, and I bet you it sounds like Sam Witwer.
Yeah, once you put it in your head, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the last shot in this thing, of course, they get to the planet, and Ahsoka and Sabine are biding time. But I do want to get just to Balin's reaction here about, the Jedi are in the forest, go hunt them down. By far, out of this entire this episode, this was my favorite shot, and it did.
Me too.
He said nothing, and the what he was doing to me was pondering some situation, and the camera stayed on him until the end credits. Right? It was just like
he sees things. She mentioned it, right?
That's right. The foresight. Yeah.
What do you see? He's in the Force right now, checking stuff out. I can't stand how great he is, and he doesn't do anything. He is the quintessential, bad Dark Lord looking Sith to me. If I who I would draw.
Yeah. Isn't that kind of the same? I'm trying to think back to the Count Dooku books. Isn't that kind of the same type of power that he had the ability to see certain things or to see?
Oh no, it was
Dooku, or was it?
It was the other one.
Yeah, it was. It was his buddy. It was.
Oh my God, the one that ordered the clone army.
Sifo-Dyas.
That's
right.
Yeah, Sifo-Dyas had vision.
Sifo-Dyas. Yeah. So maybe he's got that same type of power, that same ability.
Yeah,
that's good.
This shot was just so powerful and dark, and like I said, just sitting there, and he's looking straight, and then he looks down, and the camera just like again pans on him and stops, and I'm just like, man, there's so much here without saying nothing.
Yeah, because what he said, what we told them was the Jedi is hiding in the forest.
Go hunt them down.
Go hunt.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what's going on. So he's also worried because he knows she's coming. He knows she's relentless. He knows what she is. Right.
Yeah.
Man, I'm drooling over.
Yeah, it not every chick. I mean, if the camera was really zoomed in on me right now, I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, like I want to get this outfit. I want to grow hair just so I could be Balin all the time.
Chris will definitely get a Balin pop soon.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Shit, my personal pop looks like Balin right now more than it looks like me.
Yeah.
That dude is bad. I can't wait, man.
It just, I can't wait, but it also just makes me sad to know that this is it for him. This was his last real, finished, completed role, which
we hope
to take it back into the real world. Well, no doubt.
Yeah,
but it's just,
Ray
Stevenson he was one of my favorite parts in G.I. Joe Retaliation. He was a great Punisher. I loved Rome. Everything that he was in was incredible. So it's
the other guys.
Hit Ryan Smith. I got an idea. Okay, who's Balin's master? You know who I would love Balin's master to end up being? Rael Averos. The reason if anybody knows who Rael Averos is, it's Dooku's second apprentice.
After
right?
Qui-Gon.
Right? Before Qui-Gon. He was Qui-Gon's help too.
Right.
He helped Qui-Gon through being Dooku, right.
Yeah.
So if he ends up being Balin's master, then you have Dooku's line going both ways.
Oh
right?
My God.
Like two different sets of his training. So I think that would be kind of cool.
So he's almost like Ahsoka's great uncle in that sort of Jedi sort of way.
Yeah, their lineage is kind of the same. Yeah, wouldn't that be cool? That would be pretty rad.
But the fact
it would really end up being Shin because Balin would be more Anakin's counterpart, and it would be Shin and Ahsoka would be kind of close to each other, I would think. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Before Darth Joseph, we're gonna get to the space whales in a minute here. But I want to throw
Star whales. I can't believe they named it like that, dude. That's laser sword shit right there. That's
rewatching everything from the Clone Wars to Rebels to the movies. I am, to use an old timey word, flabbergasted at the amount of times that they actually call lightsabers laser swords.
They do on purpose, dude.
Yeah,
I mean, it's an homage to George Lucas. I mean, it really is.
It is, but so many people were like, Luke Skywalker call a lightsaber a laser sword. That's dumb. But if you look back at the entirety of the saga, it's said.
It kind of makes sense. I mean,
it's funny. Luke's was sarcastic. Luke's was he said it. He was with my laser sword. He was being sarcastic. It's when it drove me nuts was we for years we would argue with people. I know we would sit there in rooms, me and Marco, and argue with people. It's not a laser sword. It's a lightsaber. Be real. And then 1999 comes around and Anakin says it to Qui-Gon. I'm like, saw
your laser sword. Like,
shut up.
Yeah.
Laser sword.
All right. So, Julianne, if you guys could have one wish come true in the show, what would you pick to happen? She's curious.
Okay.
I do like the more I talk about the whole Star Forge and the Ricotta technology, I kind of want that to happen because it makes sense moving forward. So, but it's not a fan service for me if that's what she's talking about, like a fan service question, like what that would be kind of a better phrase. But what I want the show to do is just make sense in a way that brings everything together. I don't know about like a fan service thing.
Fan service is the original characters meeting up with the new characters.
Yeah. Or Hondo. Hondo would make me very happy.
Hondo would be great.
Yeah.
Part of me really wants to see the whole Clone of Kanan thing going, just so we could see Freddie Prinze Jr. live action as Kanan Jarrus. But at the same time, I'm like, I want Kanan's story to be done. I want him to have died and moved on with honor.
Right, because a clone wouldn't be his legacy. Yeah, I get it. I know. But
that's the
I'm with you.
And Freddie Prinze Jr. said recently, and this is why it was hard to even come into this, that he didn't want to play Kanan anymore because he thought it would do that. What you're saying, Scott, right? It would take away the emotional impact of Kanan.
Yeah.
It wouldn't mean anything anymore. However,
I think
when you come back, when you come back as clone Kanan, right? And it's different. And
it is true. I mean, it is true.
And now you're playing a dark version of it. Right, you're playing a different character. It's a different emotional impact. It's completely off. Well, so I think I would sell that to Freddie Prinze Jr. There's no way he wouldn't take that.
Yeah,
that's it.
Because there's no redemption story there. There's no, you know what I mean? It's
he just play a bad guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I like I said, on one hand, I like that final door closing, and then having what we got as Kanan's story was great. But on the other hand, you're right. As far as emotional impact to the character, seeing that, it just like, whoa, it would make us kind of like cry on cue too. So
Jason will meet his dad like that.
Whoa.
Oh, that is.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. See, right? Like the more I think about it, the worse it's going to be when it doesn't happen, because it's the coolest thing that could possibly happen out of all the choices they have.
It's a very Luke and Darth Vader moment right there.
It's if you watch it, actually, Scott, I would argue that if you watched it all, it's worse.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because everybody surrounding knew Kanan. This kid has grown up with stories of his father and how great his father was. I want to be a Jedi directly from the people who loved him and fought with him and everything. Not just some old guy he met,
Well,
some old guy.
Luke had that same epiphany. Luke had that same epiphany. He was told what his dad was one thing, and then when he found out what his real dad was, it was very emotional.
But he was told You can though assume that Owen didn't tell him everything about his dad at all, and Obi-Wan definitely held a few things back.
Oh, sure.
He was a pilot on a spice freighter.
Yeah,
exactly. So you're getting Kanan, you're getting Kanan's story directly from Hera and Aunt Sabine and Chopper and probably Uncle Zeb, who we haven't seen Zeb yet. So
we saw his X-Wing.
Gordon is going to be pissed at Chris now if there isn't a clone Kanan.
I know, dude. I've prepped the show and I'm really upset about it because I didn't want to do that this time, but it's just so right there.
Yeah.
Crystal Ease checking in. I heard lightsabers aren't lasers because it has weight and they swing it and pick it up. Hashtag science. I agree. Hey, that's why we say it's not a laser sword.
It's a plasma cutting device.
Right, exactly. But yeah, so yeah, hold on. Chat's going crazy. I can't spell Purgle right now, so I call them space whales. That's funny. So hey, we got the migration pattern of the Purgles in action.
Dude, woohoo! They came out this good. Were you worried about them?
No,
little.
Not really.
I was a little because
honestly, why would you? They're just big.
Well, the concept of a whale flying through the sky is a little silly. It really is.
Yeah, but it's not new.
No, it's new in live action.
No, okay, but it's not. Honestly, it's not that much different than what we got in Rebels. It really isn't.
Okay, but I mean, again, taking it back to somebody who doesn't watch Rebels, right? If this is your first view of a Purgle,
okay,
other than the Mandalorian,
but in Solo, was that thing in the Maelstrom? Was that shocking to you? I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? A big creature that moves slow in space. It's not that shocking. But anyway.
I get it. But to understand what happened with it, I guess
sure.
Took the Chimera away.
Now let's see him in action take off in hyperspace. That's the trick, right? That's
they spread their tentacles and take off.
When they light up, see, at least they didn't make them all purple, right? Like the
very
colors,
true.
That was kind of my worry is how they were going to pull the color scheme off, and this just all worked.
Yeah, I mean, I think what was kind of shocking was how many of them there were in this thing, and then and the dogfight going in between them.
Oh, cool. Dude, it was beautiful too.
Yeah.
There was no not once am I ever. I don't. This whole show, I'm pretty sure I would never say this looks like TV.
Yeah, 100%, dude, 100%, man. So I saw someone else in a lot of other comments were talking about how this show is standing out beyond every other show that they put out because of the cinematic feel to this whole thing. Dude. And honestly, guys, that's probably my calm down because I trusted the show so much, even in 3 episodes, that I was like, oh, they're gonna do it right. You know what I mean? I didn't have any worries. But yeah, up next, HasLab inflatable Purgle. That I would buy one.
I'd back it.
Yeah,
I'd back it.
Yeah, Dark Joseph, I thought they're amazing. Look, yeah, guys,
I agree. It's great.
It was really cool.
Way beyond what I ever expected, dude. I'm so happy how they came out. It's neat, really
dude.
Neat.
I'm gonna say, because what Rebels, and this is why I'm preaching to the choir. But what Rebels and what Dave Filoni gave us was such new things that fit in the Star Wars universe that fit so well that we can say space whales. 10, 20 years ago, if you told us we're going to have a thing called space whales and they travel through hyperspace, we're like, what are we doing? Yeah, what are we? Star whales. What are we doing? Right? That I honestly would have like had that reaction. But Rebels introduced me so...
You're jumping the space whale. Right, you're jumping.
Darth Josepher said space whales. He's in our pit.
No, I'm saying you're jumping the shark. You're jumping the space whale. That's what we would have said 10 years ago.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, what this show, what Rebels has done for us, is introduced so many cool things in the Star Wars universe. I mean, and it's very exciting to talk about it.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Crystal Lee, are there any other animals that just hang out in space? Most of the beasts she's seen are on planets, not space.
I mean, Solo.
In Solo, there's one. In Rebels, there were a few. There were a few different ones in Rebels and in the Clone Wars as well.
Minox.
So
I would argue that Minox and the worm would count.
Right.
I would argue that
Minox, the worm, the big beast in Solo. Then in animation, you had the Rebels episode where AP9 is floating in space, his little purple things fly up to him.
That's right. Yeah.
And in Clone Wars too, there was some in Clone Wars as well. So yeah,
I remember that.
It is known to happen. Yeah.
Now, when am I getting AP9? Because that's AP9 with Hyang is gonna kill it.
I thought we had him in episode 2, and then they panned away. It wasn't AP9.
If AP9 is not in it, I riot. Right? I mean, that's. When we get back to the base, when Hera has to go back to whatever base that they're at, I think he's going to be hanging out there, or he's on the Home One ship.
AP5.
AP5. Sorry. Yeah.
I'm on. Wait a second. Are we saying that right? No.
No, of course not. But you know what? We all know what we're
the pretty little purple thing was the first thing that came up. The little space alien you're talking about.
Yeah.
So funny. That was a great episode. He was done. I love it.
Yeah. He was so happy that he was just floating in space, no longer surrounded by chaos. He was so blissful. And then they came and picked him up. He's like, no, go away.
That was so good.
Is that what the worm is called? The Exogorth?
Exogorth. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So, 007. Thank you for that.
Thanks. We're drawing blanks today.
Yeah, it's just
I don't know the name of the thing that was in Solo that was in the
Me neither.
I don't know what that thing was, but that was a beast.
Yeah. And it was funny because in that the whole scene was like, what you have planets crashing to other planets and animals or beasts are like, what? Like there's living creatures in the maelstrom.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Chaos.
Yeah.
I think Chris is grabbing his Solo visual dictionary right now so he can enlighten us with the information.
I was trying, but I didn't see it over there. I don't know what the hell it is. That's weird.
Oh, look. Hey, boo. Okay, so this is a mandatory thing. Every time a Sarlacc member doesn't make it in time, he's got to pay $2. So sorry, I'm late, Joe. No problem, man. We miss you. There was a lot of content that a lot of Balin and Shin talk and stuff, man. You missed out, man. Come on.
It's a Suma Verminoth.
Of course it is.
It has a name.
It's a Suma Verminoth.
Suma Verminoth.
Okay.
All right.
I like it. I like it. It's just another thing with Star Wars and creatures, man. It's great.
Yeah.
What do we miss? Did we miss anything in this episode that we need to?
No, there was only a couple different scenes. It felt like, right? Like a couple different.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 and clean cut. 30 minutes, like 27 minutes of stuff.
It was right.
I think a lot of the best episodes of Mandalorian too are the ones that were in and out. We were always like, oh no, man, it's a 32-minute episode. This is gonna suck. And by the time you're done, you're like, whoa, that one blew my mind, and it wants me to have more.
Boba Fett's reintroduction in The Mandalorian was one of the best episodes because it was Boba Fett doing Boba Fett things that we always wanted to see him, Boba Fetting.
Yep.
And he finally did it.
Yeah.
And then show he stopped doing that.
Yeah. Well, again, only 3 episodes in of this 8-part series. And it hasn't been side missions like the Mando. You know, I need this. Okay, go to this planet, get this, so I can help you do your main goal. You know, side quest.
Right.
That's what I think is so far. Again, very early on, that's the different feel between what we're getting in Ahsoka. It doesn't seem like they're side missions. Everything they're doing is leading toward the thing. You know, the big picture. Which Filoni is fantastic at, especially if he's only got 8 episodes to do it in. You know, so. But no, I absolutely enjoyed it, and it wasn't like I said, I expected a episode just to kind of like bring it a little bit back, you know, like 2 steps back a little bit, maybe a side mission kind of stuff. Like when it didn't, man, it kind of like again raised more questions, which we like, answered a very few, but started to build this broader picture up, and so I think that next week's episode is going to be the rest of the trailer of what we've seen. You know what I mean? I think that's going to bring it all home. And like Chris said,
and with the Thrawn walking into the ship, into the ring.
And well, here's the thing too. And I if there's 2 of those Ions, Morgan's on one, Thrawn's on the other. That's why Thrawn has the gold background and Morgan has the gold background. You know what I mean?
I don't think so. I think they're picking this one to get her. They can't get the parts to him.
When they confirmed that it was
when they confirmed it was a space ring, I was done with the Stargate.
Yeah, whole Stargate thing. Stargate would have been cool. Because you know why? Because they could have destroyed it, closed it off, and we don't go to those other galaxies anymore. But and not that I don't like it. It's just that I like a confined Star Wars in this galaxy.
And I got excited whenever I saw that universal map. I'm like, oh my God, where else could we go? Does the Force exist in those different galaxies too?
Well, sure.
I'm like, I want more. I
think the only thing I'm worried about that, Scott, is they don't touch ours.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Because then you end up in some weird multiverse where Luke Skywalker's fighting Doctor Doom. And I don't want that either. You know, and that's
I think that's what it is.
Right.
That's where I'm like, because again, like we're in our little bubble of, I mean, it's a big bubble, but we're in this galactic bubble where the Jedi and the Sith and it's like all confined in this galaxy. We start going outside of that, then it's like, oh God, rules change. Everything's just not Star Wars anymore. It's something, you know.
But I do like I like the other galaxies.
But the notion of it, but the notion of it being grand. It's going intergalactic at this point. So
can I ask a real quick question, Ro? You know, we don't
have time for that. Okay, let's go. No, I'm kidding.
Okay,
no Q&A today.
I'm kidding.
Julianne Fernie asked us, you know, if we could have one wish come true. It was this comment right here. If we could have one wish come true for the show, what would we pick? And you know, we gave our answers. What about the chat? What about the pit? What do you guys?
What about you guys?
What do you think? What is if you had one grand wish, one cameo or one scene, what would it be? What would you like to see in the show?
Yeah, definitely. We'll get those in too. In the meantime, 007, I feel like they're trying to start actually moving away from the Skywalker saga.
That's what you do by going to the other galaxy. That's the only way you escape the Skywalkers.
Or time frame.
Unless you time. Exactly.
But how's that really
Which
working?
We're supposed to get.
Right, because we're getting High Republic, and that ain't really flying.
Well,
this time zone is pretty good.
No,
we're supposed to get Dawn of the Jedi.
Yeah,
that's different. Yeah, 25,000. Yeah, that works. But Dawn of the Jedi, I think, is going to be on Peridia.
Ooh. I hope.
I don't want it.
Well, I don't know if I hope, but I do think that would be a great starting point for it.
And that's how they learn about hyperspace travel with their engines, is through the Purgles. And it would make sense that would be the first people to figure it out. You know, you would do with the hyperspace wars. The lanes,
the hyperspace, sure.
A lot of cool stuff you can do from over there. This is cool.
Gordon's afraid that they're going to run into old James Tiberius Kirk if they go to a
exactly. We'll stay clear of that.
You've got a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away versus future. They're way separate.
You know, and that's what's funny. And I know Gordon knows all that, right? But that's kind of how, when people say, you know, there's no difference. Why would you like Star Wars over Star Trek? And that's how I explain it. I'm all, well, Star Trek's kind of like, it could happen. And that takes me out of it. Right? Because I'm like, that's the future Earth. And you see
science
Back to the
fiction
Future, it doesn't work.
Fantasy,
right? Yes. And I don't dig that. But you put me in a galaxy far, far away, could never happen, has nothing to do with this. And it's a long time ago, which makes no sense. And it's got futuristic cool stuff and lightsabers. I'm in because it's not going to affect me. I don't have to think, even though we do. We overthink. We put our science into it. But
otherwise, it's just a movie.
Yeah.
That's it.
I like both, but I will always choose Star Wars. Always.
I like the new Star Trek stuff. Yeah. The movies.
Luna Girls, she wants a Force Ghost Kanan.
Oh, see, and I think that's where he would draw the line. I think Freddie Prinze wouldn't do that part, but he would unless oh my god, unless they're fighting clone Kanan and Dad comes behind Jason and tells him that he could do it.
Oh, good lord!
That's not me, son. That's not me. And blah blah blah.
Yeah, right.
Cut off his head.
Suddenly Sabine has the lightsaber. She can't take it. She throws it over to Jason, and Jason starts dueling with the lightsaber.
Yeah, taking out clone Dad. I love it. This happens to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Clone Dad versus Kanan. That's hardcore. That's as hardcore, if not hardcore, than Vader and Luke.
Ryan Smith says Ahsoka going into the world between worlds and witnessing the Anakin Obi-Wan Mustafar fight.
Oof.
Yeah, that's
you're about to lose the guys there.
No. I've kind of heard that theory going that's about to pop.
Did you really?
That could pop. And that's my
the only problem with it is we're revisiting World Between Worlds again. And that's.
But why? I mean, that would have to serve a purpose. Why would that happen? And that's a big question right there.
It seems like a season 2 thing. Like so for example, this whole thing is about Thrawn and Ahsoka and Sabine and the Rebels crew. I don't know if we're going to explore too much now, like too much of Ahsoka's and Anakin and her past and turmoil about all these things. Now that seems like it would be a different story or different chapter in Ahsoka's life to explore that. Like, I need to know why Anakin turned. I need to know why he did these things, and exploring that would make sense for her to witness that. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, this is what happened. You know, and it was all about connections. And her learning about, so.
Okay.
I don't know about this season. Yeah.
I do still think the World Between Worlds, though, was localized to Lothal. I think that's what made Lothal so special, why there was a temple on Lothal.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
I think that, I just think that when that was destroyed, and it was destroyed, I think the access to that is gone. I don't think we're going to get that.
Unless these migration routes take us all to areas that have World Between Worlds.
That'd be
openings, doors to the World Between World, right? And that's where their migration paths take us.
All right. So Ahsoka and Sabine are trapped on Peridia. They have to get back, so they go to the World Between Worlds to get back to the main galaxy. They see a portal. They witness Anakin and Obi-Wan's fight. And they're like, "Oh wow, that was cool!" And then hop in the portal back over to.
I don't think it's so much going to be even the fight. It was all theories and rumors and stuff going around. It was all very mixed, right? The way I was taking it, or I could see it happening, is kind of like season 7 of Clone Wars, getting maybe Ahsoka where she was at the time, hearing that was what I wanted to see. But again, if Hayden Christensen is in it, we know he's in it, right? And he's not going to be Vader, so he's going to be young Anakin. So I mean, it's going to come up at some point.
That has been confirmed because I've stayed away from all rumors and
he's all over
everything about it.
And Hayden Christensen is in this.
Woo. All right. Well, Rick Jones says Cobb Vanth shows up riding a dewback to save someone out of nowhere.
But
we had that
cyborg
opportunity in Mandalorian. Yeah, we had that opportunity in Mandalorian season 3 where the end game, everybody comes to it and stuff. But Cobb Vanth will have to wait for Book of Fett 2. We got,
oh my god,
Darth Josepher. I want to see Barriss and Ahsoka battle after what happened on the Clone Wars temple bombing.
I feel like we're going to get the Barriss conclusion in a comic or a book.
At this point, I agree.
Yeah. Again, it's going with the current situation. Barriss right now would serve our purpose, and which is, hey, that's cool too. But the collective, like for the show, it would. I think people go, I don't understand what happened there. That's a long setup to try to. It's already a long setup to try to get everybody in tuned with the Rebels
Thrawn,
crew
the Rebel crew.
Yeah, Thrawn because a lot of people go, well, where was Thrawn during the Vader? Where is Darth Vader and Thrawn? Like, well, he was away, Oh, Gordon's got an easy one. I just want to see the ghost in action. Well, you are in luck, sir, because we know for a fact that one is coming. I like that. The simple.
I think I've under thought about how cool it's going to be to see the inside of the ghost.
Yeah, man.
Like the bedrooms and things like that, right? I think I've not thought about that enough. It's
almost like when Sabine was reminiscing on Ahsoka's ship and her bunk, and it was kind of like this, it was bringing back her memories. Now we're gonna, if we see the ghost and we have like Zeb's room, and the Sabine's room, and it's still like intact, and Ezra's room, of course, cool. And Kanan's room. I mean, come on, yeah, you're right. Like an emotional reunion, that'd be cool. Oh, good one, Gordon. The Bendu.
Bendu in live action would make me shit. Like I'd have to wash my couch.
Yeah,
it would be a mess. So that's going to be awesome. Again, as soon as I saw that comment there, I started thinking them all. Who's going to be Jason seeing him, and he's going to be like, "I sense who you are, son of Kanan, Kanan Jarrus, Jedi Knight."
Well,
could you imagine?
We talked about Jason maybe going on like his quest with the skeleton crew, right? But like setting up, again. This is all hypothetical theories of wishful thinking, but a side quest on Jason's story when he's growing up and exploring who his dad was, like he's becoming a Jedi, and actually like coming across the Bendu would be very, very cool, because you're right, the Bendu serves a different purpose, but it also could educate Jason on a different path, and like your dad once thought you like you did or whatnot, and
he had to learn lessons
cool,
as well, because the Bendu taught Kanan a huge amount, so that would be pretty rad.
Yeah,
that would be cool. Miss Sunflower, I hope all of them go to the new galaxy, because that will answer why all these Mandoverse characters are not in the sequels. They're all in another galaxy fighting Thrawn.
God, I don't like that.
I mean, but the alternative is a lot of them are dead. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the thing, right, Miss Sunflower? The alternative is they're dead, or they're just not in the story. They're not in the fight.
But the ghost was in the fight.
The ghost was, yeah.
At the very end, yeah.
Very end, the ghost was there. So it's a big galaxy, a big army. It's you just don't see everybody.
It is, but at the same time, they did bring the ghost in Rise of Skywalker, but in The Last Jedi, whenever they're calling out for help, why wouldn't the ghost have, come to aid? Because Hera's all about helping everybody. Is Hera no longer around? Is it Jason Syndulla?
Well, with the ghost being in Rise of Skywalker, just blink and we can forget about it. I mean, it's nice.
And then we heard,
is it the ghost, or is it just another YX whatever freighter?
Yeah,
true.
But we did.
We heard Kanan and Ahsoka. I mean, there were tons of we've got these Rebels characters and stuff.
So Miss Sunflower, they're dead. They're all dead. That's the answer. I mean, that's the short answer. But to have it take place in a different galaxy, the only reason why, we touched on it's that I like our wrapped galaxy of all these things going on, past, present, future. I like that, and it serves one purpose. Now I understand expanding it and having this story take place in this galaxy and the Skywalkers take place in this galaxy is interesting, but it doesn't impact each other. You know what I mean? Yeah. I want Anakin to impact everything. I want the rule of two to impact everything, not just
because if Anakin is the son of the Force and the Force controls everything in every galaxy, it should impact. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to.
Yeah. All right. What? So Darth Josepher, was the owl that followed Ahsoka around the Morai? No, not on the show.
Only in Mandalorian.
Yeah, she was in her first appearance in Mandalorian.
Yeah. I mean, Scott can make a graphic real fast. Oh.
You won't need it. I'm saying if we get the Bendu, I'll record it. I'll have it. If I have a inkling the Bendu will show up, you're not gonna be
alone there, dude. I'm serious. You're not gonna be alone. We're gonna have to conference call this one. So
like, oh man, did you just poop?
Check your phone. Check your screenshots.
Yeah, that's how it's gonna be. It's gonna be a horrible day. We're gonna be all happy for a second.
All right. So I hope we didn't miss anybody. I think that's good. I think we can call it a night.
We're just getting started, man.
I know. I always feel that way. Especially like, we get together, we can do this for hours.
The shortest episode goes almost 2 hours. We had a double episode last week, and it.
Yeah. And there was a lot to digest then too,
But this one just felt. It's so weird. I didn't think I was gonna like it. And I fucking love this episode.
But that's the thing. I was preparing myself to be like, all right, just sit back and then hope for the bigger stuff later. And I mean, we didn't get like explosive big stuff, but we got enough to be like, oh shit, the story, progressed enough to where I'm like, I like this.
You know what? And people, I saw that as a complaint today that this episode, I didn't take the story anywhere. Are you kidding me? I know where everything's happening now. I feel like I got a handle on what's happening, and it just took that little bit.
People are just looking for anything to bitch about, is what it all boils down to, and it's tiresome. It is just tiresome.
Lunar Girl, your wives won't be very happy. Well, Chris's wife won't be very happy, but I don't have one, so
she gets to come home to this.
Yeah. So a shitty couch.
She's already unhappy.
It's give and take, right?
Shitty couch, shitty husband. Jesus.
Dark Josepher, I missed the first half of y'all's show because of work. Hit us on the replay, man. Yep. I know, work.
Rewind
Hit us on the replay. And also, honestly, get your comments after the show's done in the comments after it's aired too, because we're on there. We'll respond and keep the conversation going, man. That's what we love to do.
But be back next week.
Yeah, and be back next week with more, man. We're gonna do this again. Thank you, everybody. Let's kick this off. I'm going to kick it over to Scott to get us out of here. Thank you, everybody in the pit. Thank you, everybody, for those generous super chats. We love it. That's great.
Really appreciate it.
You guys, I can't wait to talk more Star Wars. I can't wait to go on to our Facebook community page and talk more Star Wars. This is great. So with that, Scott, go ahead and take us out.
Thanks again, everybody, for joining us this evening. We really appreciate it. Thank you for chiming into the chat. It's been awesome hearing all your comments and seeing what all your theories are. We really do enjoy it. And we always say that, the Sarlacc Digest, we're just, 3 to 5 guys on screen talking, but all of you are also part of the Sarlacc Digest. You are all one of us. You are also the digest. So with that, don't forget to log in to facebook.com and check out the Star Wars community powered by the Sarlacc Digest. And just continue the conversations there, Also, don't forget to check just our page here on YouTube. Also, we've got polls going.
Yes.
We've got, we want to know your opinions on certain things. It's like last week. Do you give the 2-episode premiere 1 to 5 stars? What did you think? Let us know. Does the sorry chat accept pesos? We both work for the state, and yes, I understand.
Yeah. The sorry. Yes, we do. No.
Yeah. We'll accept pesos. But also don't forget to check out our Instagram page, our TikTok page. Just look up Sarlacc Digest Podcast, and we're all over the place there.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're on X too. We're on X.
We are on X. I'm not on X.
Chris is Xing all the time
down here. He is all over the X.
Chris, you sent out the greatest X the other day. It was great. I love that X. I re-X that X.
No, I X'd about Kanan. I did X about Kanan.
Yeah, you did. I see your X's.
I did want to put. I went and checked everywhere for that, and I'm on. Nobody's saying that, so I made sure to put it in there for posterity.
Yeah.
And then,
I made sure to re-X your X. So.
Well, thank you. Just re-X that X.
Of course.
XE.
I'll triple X that X. And yeah.
All right.
Anyway, also patreon.com/Sarlacc Digest Podcast. If you are so inclined, subscribe. There will be more content on there going forward. We hope. We're trying to put together some fun things for all of you Patreon subscribers. So on top of that, don't forget to check out our own personal Instagram pages as well. We've got Tashi Station Emporium, which is that guy over there. Say hi.
Hello.
There we go. He makes these amazing action figure stands right here that can actually withstand the heat. Your
figures won't, but the stands will.
That's right. The figure's ankles will still bend, but you know what? The stand will be on a stand attached to their feet.
Exactly.
So we've got that. We've also got these amazing walls right here. Let's pivot the camera. Check out that.
I like that.
Isn't that neat?
I don't even have one. That. What the heck?
Well, it's because you keep selling them, sir. So there you go. Check out Tashi Station Emporium, and don't forget to put Sarlacc Digest in the checkout for a 10% off discount. Also, Grand Amel Frowns down there, your mama's favorite podcaster. You can find him as Darth Dad 77 on the Instagrams. I am the Art of Scott Solo. Also, you can find Ernie the Fallen Fett in the Fallen Fett Chronicles and the Federation and all those other names that he throws out all the time with the Toy Migos and They're Not Dolls and Chat Migos and
all the Migos,
1 million, all the Migos and How We Do Disney. And that dude is spread so thin. I don't know how the hell he pulls it all off. All of it while on call.
Not enough for Ernie to go around.
Well, not
there
enough for
isn't.
Ernie.
There
and
isn't.
he gets to hang out with the Nick Fury of the Star Wars universe. Come on. That's their other theory, right? We're waiting on that theory to come true, everybody.
Carson Teva. Yeah.
Carson Teva
we're
is
waiting
Nick
on
Fury.
it.
That's right.
And he is so much better at this closing thing than I am. So don't forget to hit that like button. Thanks, buddy. Don't forget to hit that like button, or as we used to say, the Wampa Stomp. I don't think that exists anymore. It might. I don't know. Did you?
I know.
Stomp?
Oh.
Boom! Hey,
Wampa Stomp that like button.
Stomp that like button. There's a callback for you.
I know, right?
In a minute. Yeah. So cheesy. I love it.
Yeah. What were we thinking?
Man, when you go back and you look at what you're wearing in the 90s, and then it's the same thing. And that was only like 2 months ago.
Yeah,
exactly. We
go back to episode 1 of the Sarlacc Digest, and boy, it's a totally different show.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was gonna pop Mike's exercise ball.
Yeah.
Stop bouncing on the ball.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, bring back memories there.
Sorry.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to do this all again next week. So make sure, of course, you subscribe and hit that bell notification for all future content, because who knows, we might just pop up impromptu and just talk Star Wars.
Is there a Frankenstein's thing happening?
Oh, so anybody in the SoCal area that wants to go to the we call it the Toy Migo Con this Saturday at Frankenstein's, 12 o'clock. We are going to, I'm planning on going because I think I have to give Ernie a ride. So I think I kind of already committed myself going. So I'll double check that. But yeah, the Toy Migo Con this year, last year was great. I think we're going to Korean barbecue after. Great time, great fun. And then we're going to all meet up at Frankenstein's at 12 o'clock. So yes, cool. Santo 1414 checking in. All right, guys. Well, I think we're out of here. Again, we're going to do this next week. What?
I don't know. Gordon wants to say, can he get a Wu Hu Yang? I don't even know if I can.
You get a Wu Hu Tang.
Hu Yang is for the kids.
Yeah. Hu Yang ain't nothing to with. Keep it PG. Keep PG.
That's why I need the shirt. Hu Yang ain't nothing to F with. Give me shirts.
Dude, we got it.
Hu Yang ain't nothing to force with. Do it.
Oh, crap.
Where's make a logo? We need to put it online. We need to sell it. Just a logo like that. That's how. Hey, that's how. What's his nuts? With your Snoke theory sucks. Made all sorts of.
Oh, that's right. That's where
it comes from. Get it made now.
Well, now that we put it out there, now it's a race to get it done.
No,
first.
Our people aren't going to steal from us. That's messed up. The pit loves us, and nobody's listening at this point. We're just yapping at each other. So
that's true.
Let's put that out there. Come on.
I guess I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
You're right. Me?
I'm on. All
right, guys.
Yeah.
Well, let's get out of here. With that, Scott,
keep it nerdy, everybody.
This is Grand Admiral Thrawn. You are listening to the Sarlacc Digest. What a fascinating play on words.